What's up everyone? Welcome to So Far So Gay. Today we're going to pick up where we left it with our IVF journey round 1 part 2. So Sophie went to the 6-week scan. I was able to come with her and it was amazing.
We got to see little Bean's heartbeat. We named it Bean because it was the size of a bean and tiny. Yeah, had a really good strong heartbeat. The nurses were very happy, size was on track and everything was going well. After this, we shortly went into lockdown actually. So just to remind you, this was last year, so 2020. This would have been around March, yeah. So yeah, we'd not gone into lockdown.
Which in a way was, I think it was very good for us and helpful because Sophie has a very demanding job and she's on her feet a lot, so it was nice to have that time to just be at home and relax and actually embrace the pregnancy. So that was very good, very helpful, and I was able to help a lot more as well because I was also working from home. So that was a pro, I think, as opposed to a con for us in that situation.
Yeah. So we'll cut to a bit. I was continuing with my medication that I was on, which was the pessaries, the tablets and the injections, which by this point we've gotten quite used to. I think you were quite used to doing my injections for me.
Yeah, I was stabbing her every other day like it was nothing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's 9 p.m, let's
time
go.
to stab you, chasing her around the house with the needle.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't even know they're pregnant. So their first scan is going to be the 12-week scan. But we had the 6-week scan. And yeah, we got discharged from our private clinic and we were waiting for the 12-week scan via the NHS. And it is a long wait because you're very anxious to see how things are getting on. So it does get very kind of slow and time really just doesn't move.
You're waiting sort of every day for the days to go by just to get to that scan. So I had kind of usual early symptoms, I guess. The bloating, I was very hungry. I was eating everything out of the fridge. Very tired, quite fatigued. My heart rate was quite high. Swollen boobs. So I had my first midwife appointment was actually done over the phone. Everything was done over the phone. I didn't actually go in to meet any midwife because we were already in lockdown. So I think they were trying to figure out as well how they're going to do this booking appointment where they're supposed to sort of, take your height and weight and do bloods and do a urine sample and, all the other things that you need to be present for. So I actually didn't have those tests done. They were planning to do them at the 12-week scan, but I did have the sort of hour-long conversation on the phone with the midwife to kind of take all the details and medical history, family history.
Yeah, it was quite a long conversation, understandably. And it was also different to the usual, I guess, in a sense that they were asking not only for Sophie's medical history,
but yours,
but also mine because of the eggs being, due to the eggs being mine. So yeah, I had to kind of get a bit more involved in that process too. It was coming up to the 12-week scan. We did know it would be a bit different also due to COVID and the UK being in lockdown. We discovered that I wasn't going to be allowed there. I could go with Sophie, but I'd have to wait outside.
Outside the hospital?
Yeah, outside of the hospital. And so what happened was I stayed home. I had a lot of work going on and it made sense to stay home and save the day of holiday or the appointment for a future date where I could be with Sophie instead. So Sophie went to hospital to do her 12-week scan.
So I get to the hospital, quite excited to be able to see our baby. And I go in for my scan. And So I lay down, get ready, and no, that's fine.
Obviously, this was quite some time ago now. Although it's, it's always going to be very present. We are okay, but obviously talking about it and bringing it up brings all those feelings back, and it's very difficult. It's it's very tough. So it's okay.
Yeah, sorry. They do the scan, and she tells me there's no heartbeat. And I say, what do you mean? Everything was fine. I had a scan just a couple of weeks ago at my clinic. And she said, I'm really sorry, there's no heartbeat. And I asked her, can you get someone else to check as well, please? She got someone else. Same thing, right? They said, yeah, I'm really sorry, there's no heartbeat. Okay, so I was by myself. I knew I had to call Yasmin and tell her the sad news. Didn't quite know how to do it, and they put me in a room to kind of sort of, calm down a little bit, cry, whatever. And when I was ready, I called her, and she answered the phone so excited and happy, and it was really hard to then give her bad news. It was such a shock, because we weren't expecting anything. I had no idea that there was something wrong, because I was still having all the pregnancy symptoms. They call it a miscarriage. So your body doesn't recognize the loss, and you still continue to have pregnancy symptoms. So when you'd only know through having the scan, and there not being any heartbeat. So
yeah, it was very bad that I wasn't able to be there with her through this. Obviously, I had no idea what was going on. I was working from home. I was just about to go into a work meeting, and I got the call. And we just assumed everything was fine because everything seemed fine. She had the symptoms. Our embryo was a textbook embryo, the best grade possible. Everything was amazing. The first scan was brilliant. The heartbeat was very strong. The size was on point. So we had no reason to think, there was any concerns at all. No spotting even throughout the whole process. So, which could be due to the medication as well. But yeah. So I got the call, and I was very happy and excited to hear from her, assuming that I'd get great news. And yeah, Sophie was very upset. She was crying, and she was saying sorry. She was just apologising, and I just knew something was wrong at that point. And she told me there's no heartbeat. I'm very sorry. So I dropped everything I was doing, called my boss, told him that not to count me in for any further meetings, and made my way to the hospital. And had to wait outside for her to be discharged and be able to come out, and just be there supporting her and with her. And from there onwards, it was a very, very, very tough lockdown. It was the next few months following that were very difficult for us.
They sent me home after about an hour and a half of being at the hospital because I needed to go through some things. They needed to give me some medication to go home and take to actually have the
To provoke the miscarriage.
Yeah. So I was, I got home and I was kind of putting it off for a few hours. I just didn't want to do it. But in the end, I had to take some medication, which in turn, after a few hours, started the miscarriage, which lasted all night. I didn't sleep.
It happened overnight. So I think you took the medication just before going to sleep, hoping that you could, just have a few hours of sleep, or even sleep through most of the bleeding. But yeah, that was too optimistic, I think.
It was very painful. You have, it's like period pain times 20, or I don't know. It was horrible. It was horrendous, and not a pleasant thing.
I'd never seen Sophie in that pain as well, so it was quite a shock to me. It was very difficult because not only seeing her in that pain, but also knowing what that pain meant, which was that we were having a miscarriage then and there, and having to actually provoke it ourselves by taking that medication was very difficult.
After this, obviously, I guess we were just kind of zombies, if you like, for really for the next couple of months. We obviously didn't want really to speak to anyone or engage in anything, or even getting up in the morning was quite a struggle. I think after you've been through such a long process before all of this, with the appointments and knowing that you're about to do IVF, and it'll be the first attempt as well, and everything going so well in the beginning, we didn't really expect this at all.
No, I think our hopes were very high up there, and it was a big shock for us. So it took a lot to digest that, I think, for us. On the other hand, we've grown so much stronger together. I think we could probably get through anything at this stage.
Absolutely.
No doubt. The nightmare didn't end there. There is more.
There is more. So here we go. It was about a week and a half. Sorry. 1 minute. It was about a week and a half after this happened. I started getting very ill. I had a fever. I had no appetite. I was sleeping all day, and I was hot and cold, shaking. I wasn't right. So I called the midwife that had been looking after me, and she said it sounds like I had an infection and go straight to A&E. So bear in mind I had been feeling really bad for a few days, so I was a mess, I hadn't showered, I hadn't eaten, nothing. So I just forced myself to jump in the shower, not knowing what's going to happen when I get to hospital.
And again, I wasn't allowed to come with her.
Lockdown.
So she's feeling awful, very bad, and I'm having to send her off to hospital by herself.
In a cab.
In a cab, and just wait until I hear from her and hope for the best.
Yeah. So I get there, and they take my temperature, and first off go, "Oh, your temperature is too high. We think you have suspected COVID." And I'm like, God, any more things really right now? So after a lot of checks and being there all day and being moved from this department to that department, blood scans, chest x-rays, check my lungs because they were worried about COVID. They put me on a suspected COVID ward, which had 3 other people on it. We were quite spread out, which was a bit worrying because I didn't really think I had COVID. I kind of was 99% sure that it was due to the infection of my body. So once the results came back of the bloods, it was confirmed that I had an infection due to remaining tissue left that didn't all
Come out.
I stayed in there for 3 days.
Which was totally unexpected, because I thought she'd be going in and coming out the same day.
Yeah.
And then I got a phone call saying, "Oh, I'm going to have to stay for about 3 days probably." So yeah.
Well, they told me 2, turned into 3.
Yeah.
Luckily, I took my phone charger, but I had nothing else with me. I had no clothes with me, literally nothing, because I didn't know what was going to happen, and I wasn't really in a headspace to kind of think, oh, let me pack a bag just in case. So
yeah.
First day I was in there, had all the tests. The next day I went into theatre. I had an operation to remove the remaining tissue, which is called a DNC. That was the first time I've ever had an operation like that. Again, that was quite scary, and couldn't have Yasmin there. She wasn't sleeping at night, I wasn't sleeping at night. We were just on the phone to each other quietly at night, because neither of us could sleep. It was all madness going on.
I mean, we didn't really digest the miscarriage itself at this stage, and something else is already happening.
Yeah.
Which in a way is linked still. So it was just kept building up, and it kept building up. This is 2 weeks later, and we still haven't actually started our grieving process properly, because we just kept coming across these problems that were all linked to the miscarriage. So yeah.
So I mean, after 3 days I got to come home. Yasmin come and pick me up from hospital, and I was so happy to see you. And yeah, brought me home, and then we could finally, once I was feeling a lot better by then, and yeah, finally gave us a bit of time to start the grieving process, which, to be honest, initially didn't involve much talking to each other about it. We just couldn't. I think we were just kind of binging on films.
We watched the whole of Friends.
Oh, we did. We watched the whole of Friends from beginning to end. I chopped off Yasmin's hair, which, if anyone knew her, was down to her butt.
We weren't able to get distracted, really distracted. We couldn't go out, see friends, and moments like these, it does help to get distracted, to be with family and friends, which we couldn't. Yeah. So we were just literally like sloths on the sofa all day, watching Friends, watching movies, series, probably eating a load of crap.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I just thought, oh, let's do something fun. Let's just have a crazy moment. Why don't you just chop all my hair off and get rid of all that bad old energy, which we did. Yeah, it was crazy, but
you know, it's silly in a way, but I mean, you know, that's my job. I'm a hairdresser, but I do love my job, and I love cutting hair, and I hadn't done anything for a while, and that actually really helped me kind of get up and kind of snap out of the zone that I was in a little bit. So
I think that is the point, and if you think about it, thinking back, that is the point where we kind of started getting over it in a way. Not getting over it,
dealing with it.
That's the point where we kind of faced it.
Yeah.
For some reason, that little thing made such a big difference.
It did.
We just got up and just decided to just do something wild and crazy together. So it's like, let's just do something. And then from there onwards, we started eating healthier.
Yeah.
We started trying to get fit.
Yeah, we were doing exercise almost every day here, which was really nice. And
things got better.
Things started to get better. Yeah. We get each other very well. We have this kind of what's the word?
Telepathic.
Yeah, thing between us, and you know, we do get each other, and we don't always need to talk, although eventually we did obviously start communicating verbally about everything and how we were feeling.
Not so much me, but you.
Yasmin's not a big talker, but I certainly...
We do have different ways of dealing with grief or dealing with things.
Yeah.
You know, Sophie has she's a lot more emotional than I am, and that's her way of dealing with things, which I think is brilliant. It's amazing to let it out. And I have a different, I let it out in a more angry way. But we both know that about each other. So she was a bit more patient with my anger, and I was a bit more supportive with her emotions. It brought us closer, and we're unbreakable now.
Obviously, talking about it now, it's still not easy, and it will always be quite present, although we're better. But
yeah, we've learned to accept it and move on with it, which is what we're doing. And I mean, there is a lot more to our IVF journey. It doesn't end here.
There's more.
There is a lot more to it, so stay tuned to continue our journey with us. But this is the part 2 of our IVF round 1.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for being with us along this journey. It really does mean a lot to us for you to just watch and be patient and hear what our journey's been like. And I know that a lot of people can relate to it, so which is the reason why we are putting this out there, is because it is a real thing and this does happen. It's very common.
There's no shame in it. There's no blaming yourself.
No.
And it shouldn't be a taboo.
No.
It shouldn't be a taboo thing. It happens a lot more than most of us are aware. We think it is important to share it and to support other people who are going through the process or have been through the process. And it happens. It's a part of the journey of creating life. So,
yeah. And
can I just say, I have the most supportive and strong person sitting right next to me right now.
You're gonna make me cry again, come on.
She is strong and she can take anything on, no doubt.
And she has been my rock, so I couldn't have got through it without her being so amazing. And also, very few friends and family knew about this, and they've all been incredible and supportive with us. So thank you to you guys as well.
Yes.
Big thank you.
Yeah. Who was to make babies?
I'm stabbing you.
Can I stab myself? That's not cool.
Are you happy?
I'm happy with this. Yeah. This is my excitement face. No, to get rid of all the air that was in there.
I feel that in my foot.
Look at that line. well, that's it from us. That's
Yes.
our part 2. If you are enjoying our videos, maybe not so much this one, but if you're
sorry for the sad news, but it's life, so
it's not all donuts and pancakes.
that's good.
All right, make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel
And click the bell to get notified when our next videos come out.
Yes.
And there will be more. As Yasmin said, this is not the end of our IVF journey, so please stay tuned for more updates. Peace out.
Peace out. So far, so gay.
Nunca digo hasta luego.